It is I, dear Abby.
More like dear Krabby. I'm a grump.
But I do have advice for all of your death woes. As I was writing this and answering these questions, it occurred to me that this is really just kind of an Ask a Mortician. Exciting new content! I'm the youngest of 4 kids, but my parents are divorced. I don't fear death or dying, but I'm afraid of being the last of my immediate family still alive, should the people I've known all my life pass on before me. Alex. Alex, I totally get it. I'm an only child, I don't have any children, and I always vaguely have that I'm gonna die alone feeling. The first way to look at it is that families are the people that are our blood, and families are also the people that we choose. When I think about who I want at my bedside while I'm dying, it's my family, but it's also my friends who have become my family. Statistically, you probably have a lot of years left to live, and you're going to meet a lot of people, some of whom you will become close to. So you may outlive your family, but not all the members of your family. But what if, absolute worst case scenario, you die with no friends, no family? Something that stuck with me years after hearing it is something that Janine Garofalo, of all people, said, which was a response to those who asked her,
"But how can you not have children? Who's gonna be there by your side taking care of you when you die?"
First, you can't count on your kids to do that. I've seen this happen over and over. Some adult children are amazing and step up like you wouldn't believe, and some kids cannot handle death and will not be there. So Janine said something to the effect of, I have been very careful about saving and managing my money my entire life. I'm going to hire a kind but firm nurse to sit by my bedside reading magazines and taking care of me as I die. And yes, that's a joke and it's kind of sad, but it actually makes me feel a lot better. Planning for retirement and for end of life is something that I can control, unlike the whims of my children or my family or my partner. No matter what, we're born alone and we die alone. There probably will be friends and family around you as you die, Alex, but don't let that stop you from doing what you need to do for you. My grandmother passed away last January, and I had no choice but to take my children with me. Ever since my 5-year-old watched my grandmother's casket get lowered into the ground, no amount of explaining has been enough to make her understand that we aren't going back to get her. She asks my mother questions like, "Grandma, are you sad that Mom is in a hole by herself? I bet it's dark in there." Do you have any suggestions for explaining the finality of death to younger children? Carrie. Of course, every child's journey to death understanding will be different, but from research we do know some general age breakdowns. From age 4 to 5, children begin to understand the irreversibility of death. That is to say, once a thing is dead, you can't make it not dead. But what's crucial to your daughter's case is that it's not until a little bit later, maybe age 6 or 7, that children understand the non-functionality of death. That is to say, understand that great-grandmother isn't seeing and feeling and experiencing and eating and pooping or whatever. These two things, irreversibility and non-functionality, can and do exist separately in the death awareness process. She's saying, I bet it's dark down there, because she's not quite there with the non-functionality thing yet. From her perception, Grandma is down there thinking,
"It's so dark in here. Grandmother doesn't like it. Somebody come get Grandma."
But the thing is, your daughter is in the right place for her age, and she's asking the right questions. I know that parents aren't always thrilled to have a death-obsessed kid, but people in hell want ice water. Sometimes you get a death-obsessed kid, and that's just the way it is. I hope you don't regret taking her to the funeral. It was such an opportunity, and it's what got her asking all of these questions. And what you're doing now is half the battle, letting her ask those questions and giving her simple, direct answers.
I bet it's dark in there.
Not for your great-grandma, because great-grandma's dead, and that means you don't see or feel anything. I know you saw her go into the ground, but that doesn't mean she's awake down there. It's hard to imagine now, but that's what death means. Your daughter's gonna get this, probably sooner rather than later. But the best part is that she's gonna know now that it's cool to ask questions, and that will extend to more death questions and then sex questions and life questions later on. Please comment below on these questions. I love reading comments on advice columns because they're always like, bad advice! This advice instead! Or it's people telling stories that relate to the questions. If you have a question that you want to submit for another video like this, deathquestions@gmail.com. If you have other types of videos that you would prefer to see, put those in the comments as well. I will cry and then fret a lot about them and then maybe make them! Brought to you with support from People's Memorial Association and the Co-op Funeral Home, and donations from viewers like you. Ask a Mortician is brought to you by Patreon.